Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. Got exciting news from Retro Rick, the popular YouTuber. Now, I've met Retro Rick several times at Retropalooza and different gaming cons. Very nice guy, very down to earth. He's got a huge following on social media, on YouTube, and he's got a really successful and incredibly cool video game store. You can see that on YouTube. Really cool guy as far as I can tell, by all accounts, and I've heard good things. And yeah, he's got big news, so let's check it out. Yes, big news from Retro Rick. Now, I have met Retro Rick several times at different gaming cons, Retropalooza and others. Seems like a really nice guy. He's very down to earth. For someone with such a big social media and YouTube following, he seems like just an ordinary guy, and he's got a really cool video game store. You can check that out on his channel, the walkthrough. Seems like a solid cat though. Humble, down to earth, friendly. Normal. Now, you guys know in the hardcore retro gaming community, sometimes you run across some abnormals, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not so normal myself, but the bottom line is Retro Rick seems like a solid cat. And I'm really excited for him. He has announced RetroFest Arkansas, and I wish him the best of luck. It is October 12th and 13th at the Conway Expo and Event Center in Conway, Arkansas. Now, I won't be doing this show because it's the same weekend as Houston Arcade Expo, and that's one of my favorite shows of the year. It's always incredibly fun. I've already accepted an invitation to be a guest at that show, and yeah, so not missing it. But if I weren't doing Houston Arcade Expo, I would probably do RetroFest Arkansas, especially if I were invited out as a guest. It's a little over 5 hours from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so it's in driving distance, which is always big for me since I lug these massive books around and I wouldn't have to arrange for shipping or anything. I could just drive up there and maybe see some relatives in Arkansas if I had a time to do that. So yeah, RetroFest Arkansas. Let's read about it a little bit. Now, very quickly, Conway, Arkansas, that actually means something to me. I've actually done a show there before. One weekend after doing a show, I believe it was in Oklahoma, on a Saturday, I popped through Arkansas to go to Conway to do a panel with Earl Green. Let me know in the comments if you guys know Earl Green. He is seriously OG. You can check him out on his website. I will put a link to that in the comments. But yeah, Earl Green, great dude. We did a panel together, and I was sort of a guest at the show. They let me have a place out front with my books and everything, and provided a panel for me, so that was really cool. Conway, see, it was called Comic Conway. So in Conway, Arkansas, at the Expo and Event Center is RetroFest, October 12th and 13th. Congrats, Rick, for this. And here we go. Let's see what it says on the website. Dive into a nostalgic wonderland at RetroFest Arkansas. Now, when something starts with dive into, that gives me a little bit of ChatGPT vibes because that's one of its favorite usages. We use it at work sometimes, and I definitely see that a lot, but doesn't matter. Got all the information here. The ultimate celebration of all things retro taking place in Conway, Arkansas on October 12th and 13th. This two-day extravaganza. Extravaganza is your passport to the past, featuring a treasure trove. That's another ChatGPT favorite. Video games, vintage clothing, iconic TV and movie personalities, and a myriad of nostalgia-inducing items. RetroFest Arkansas is a haven for gamers with a massive showcase of classic arcade games and vintage consoles that span the golden ages of gaming. Engage in, another ChatGPT favorite, spirited competitions, marvel at the evolution of video games, and maybe even discover a rare gem, ChatGPT loves gem, to add to your collection. Now, I'm not knocking the usage of ChatGPT here because it's very useful for something like this, just a quick announcement about a convention. It's not like I'm reading a short story or some news article or anything. It's just event details, no problemo. But the festival is more than just video games. Explore an extensive array of vintage clothing stalls where fashion enthusiasts can find those perfect retro outfits and accessories. Now, it sounds like this show is going to set itself apart a little bit with vintage clothing and some other things. Every convention tends to have its own personality, which I really like. Wander through our market of nostalgia where every stall is a portal to the past, offering collectibles and memorabilia that will transport you to your fondest memories. Prepare for unforgettable encounters with beloved TV and movie personalities from the eras that left a mark on our hearts. Our special guest lineup includes stars from your favorite classic TV shows and films, ready to share stories, sign autographs, and pose for photos. Now, I have no doubt that Retro Rick will get an awesome guest lineup. I'm sure he has a lot of connections, as popular as he is on social media. RetroFest Arkansas brings together a vibrant, another great favorite with ChatGPT, community of enthusiasts, collectors, gamers, and those yearning for a taste of yesteryear. It's more than an event. It's a journey back in time, inviting you, your friends, and family to revel in the nostalgia, share your passions, and create new memories in the heart of Conway, Arkansas. Don your best retro attire, gather your loved ones, and join us for a weekend filled with fun, nostalgia, and celebration at RetroFest Arkansas 2024. See you there. Now, I am very intrigued by this. Hopefully, this will be a major success, which I really believe it will be, because Retro Rick is a good businessman. And like I said, very popular on social media. He will definitely be able to get the word out. Get tickets. It looks like general admission for Saturday is $25, which seems very reasonable. VIP admission is $50, so that's very cool. $25 again on Sunday. VIP is $40 on Sunday. It looks like kids 5 and under are free. Kids 6 to 12 are $12.50, and they've got bundles and packages and things like that. So RetroFest Arkansas. I'm not seeing a bunch of other info on the website right now, but I'm sure they will add to that as it goes. Some of the comments on Facebook about this show. Very cool. Do you need help booking celebs or voice actors? Dang, the same dates as Retro Game Con. Yeah, there's so many conventions these days that, there's a lot of crossover. I've had to pick which show I'm going to do for a different weekend, throughout the year, because I will get invited to the same show on the same weekend. I'll get invited to one show, and then 2 weeks later, someone will invite me to a show at the same weekend, and it's a heartbreaker. And I'm like, oh, I would love to, but I can't. But I, typically, I talked to John Riggs about this a few years ago, and I talked to him about gaming cons and accepting, guest opportunities and things. And he goes, man, my policy is to go with the convention that invites me first. Now, I think by and large, this is a very good policy, because the people that invited you first, give them their due for inviting you first and thinking of you first and planning ahead and all that kind of stuff. And that's typically what I do. There might be a rare occasion where I do something differently, like if I'm a guest at a show every year, like Classic Game Fest, and there's another show that weekend, if somebody invited me out to it, I'm sure I wouldn't do it, because I've been homies with Dave Kalin for a very long time, and I'm always a guest at that show, and it's 3 hours from my house, and it's always an incredible show. So with rare exceptions, that's a great policy for Mr. Riggs to go to the show that invites you first. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. RetroFest Arkansas. Have you heard anything else about this show? Do you know anything else about this show? Here's a link to apply to be a vendor. It looks like 10 by 10 tables. That's a good sized table, or a good space. The table will probably be 8 foot if I had to guess. It's a 10 by 10 space for $250. $250 is pretty solid these days. That's a fair price for a vendor's booth. Let's see. $450 for double end cap space, quad 4 space for $900. Sounds reasonable, guys. RetroFest Arkansas, put on by Retro Rick. Let me know in the comments if you're going, if you plan on going to the show, if you've heard about this show, and what you think about Retro Rick and his channel and his store. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll talk to you in another video.